Hi, it's Sherí Tay-bur again with Energy Healing Arts. Okay, so this is video 2. The first video was helping you understand how COVIDic information comes into our energy body, can stay with us, and overshadow aspects of any part of our energy body. And this particular series of videos is most concerned with helping your brain remember that its job is to remove that energy, having been overshadowed for a period of time in various different ways for different people. Your brain may have become unaware of certain kinds of information that is in your field that needs to be removed. And so by doing this consciously, cognitively, by talking and listening, by seeing visuals that help your brain say, oh, is that happening in our body, in my body, in this body? And then identify it. And for you, these particular areas of information in your energy body may be in different places, but your brain knows to look for it in every place. That's part of its genius. So by doing this, by having this conversation, by looking at these various slides, by listening, and by being patient while I talk very slowly through this so that your brain can hear it, understand it, digest it, integrate it, and then begin to say, oh, how is it I had no idea? How is it this is here? This isn't okay. The beauty of it is your body spirit, your vital life force energy, which is your light, it's your spirit, it's your life, is with you. Your body spirit and your vital life force energy are two different kinds of energetic light in your body. And we'll talk about those in other videos. But these very aware, very, very cognitive and cognizant, energetic conveyances of divine light hear, know, support you. And all of your divine energies and divine essences come together while we have this conversation. This is a very much divinely guided video. I am listening and hearing and knowing what I'm supposed to present to you. And God, the divine, the creator, source light, pure source light, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, Great Spirit, however it is you refer to the creator, is guiding the creation of this video because it's time for us to begin to heal. Thank God. Thank God. Okay, here we go. All right, so today in this video, which is number 2, I don't quite know how many we're going to go with because they take a little longer than normal because I'm speaking quite slowly in them. So we'll see where we end up, okay? So in this one, oops, let me share my screen. I want to start where I left off in video 1. And in video 1, we talked about emotional pain, how your body is created to process it, hold it, resolve it, and certain kinds of emotions set in particular areas of your body. This sets here, upper spine, this is what it's intended to resolve and to sit with well. And when what the neck was created to sit with well is moved down here by virtue of an intelligence that has the capacity to do this, this begins to mess with your body in a very significant, very serious way. And it begins to bring your body's intelligence into areas where it does not belong, where it is not supported in the same genius way. And these videos are for the purpose of you, for you and your brain and your whole self to look at your whole self and say, do I have something like this happening? Do I have an energetic constellation? Do I have an energy bundle? Do I have energy that is not my energy sitting somewhere in my greater field? And if I do, I need to be able to remove it. And the work of these videos is waking up areas of your body so that it will do this. Okay? All right. Now, we're going to go to the skin area of our body and understand how it's being affected by the energetic congestion in our greater environmental regions. Okay? Everybody's locale has very specific energetic congestion. Energetic congestion is energy as information that's in our atmosphere. It's in our air. It's in our space. It's in our oxygen. It's in the gases of that which are contained in our atmosphere. And these are energetic information that assist COVID in spreading, that assist what we refer to as COVID in coming into your energy body. So, pardon me, most of what I'm talking about is conceptual. Most of what I talk about is conceptual. Some of what I share is exactly what I'm saying. But the most important part is that your brain begins to understand that the concept that energy is likely with you that does not belong to you, and it must be removed. This is the phase of the global collective, of all of us being able to heal at a new level from something that was greater than a pandemic. Okay? All right. So, some of the common things that are occurring as a result of energetic congestion entering your field is this congestion entering these areas on your skin. I am not a scientist. I am not a doctor. I am not a therapist. I have never studied medicine. So I can't speak to you from a clinical or diagnostic, nor would I, perspective. What I can tell you is what the divine wants us to understand so that our bodies can heal, okay? So I may use concepts and I may use language that is not exact. And that's as much on purpose as it is because this is not my area, right? But the concepts I am sharing with you are real. So don't get stuck in my language. Don't get stuck in what I don't understand about the anatomy. Don't get stuck in what I don't understand about medical science. You'll miss the point. Stay with me on the concept of what this energetic information is doing when it ends up in your energy body, which can be exterior to this physical body or interior to our physical body, because our physical body our physical body has longitude and latitude, lines of longitude and latitude in the way the various energy bodies come together. And energy can move in, down, vertically, as it travels through the various networks, you could say. That's not accurate, but the various networks of our body. Okay, so one of the things it's doing is getting into these areas. Okay, what are these areas? Well, here on this map, this is very difficult to read, sorry. The lateral cutaneous nerve of the forearm is what we're pointing at. And this is making its way in this very specific way down this nerve branch. As it does, it comes here in the wrist. And it makes its way into the wrist, and that bundle becomes inflamed and it expands. And the bundle is energetic information that does not belong here. It doesn't belong in your body. This conveyance that I'm explaining that's being represented, I'm sorry, I said that this was number 8. This is number 6. Let's go right here. The medial cutaneous nerve of arm, okay, of the forearm, arise from the 8th cervical and 1st thoracic nerves. So the cervical spine is this C-spine, okay? And the thoracic is this T-spine, okay? And this is a pretty accurate concept, drawing, okay? So this arises from the 8th cervical, which is, it's, okay, I'm not even going to comment because all I can do is tell you what this says, this area right here. Okay, I thought I was going to show you something on the spine, but I can't. Okay, so it arises from the 8th cervical and the 1st thoracic nerves. So let's look for the first, excuse me. Excuse me. T1, right here. The 1st thoracic, pardon me, one second. Okay, so the 1st thoracic is this T1, and then it says the 8th cervical. That's right here. So this area and this area are being conveyed to by this energetic information that we're talking about. And it supplies the skin around the upper part of the medial surface of the arm, as well as the ulnar side of the forearm. The ulnar side is here, and the information conveys down like this, down this branch, collects and begins to inflame itself. And as it inflames itself, begins to inflame all these nerves. This is why many people are experiencing something that they would identify with a diagnosis that they do not have. I'm not a doctor. However, if energy is what's causing these inflammations, these tinglings in your fingers, the numbness in parts of your hand, the pain and discomfort in this area of your wrist, and pain and discomfort all in here, you want to get rid of this energy. This is symptomatic of a particular diagnosis. And because it is, it can end up being treated as that. And that's not the problem. If it's energetic, and it always begins at the energetic level. If it's energetic, it can be removed without surgery, without injections, without painful things, without strong medications. This can be removed without medications, and you can move forward without putting these things in your body. I'm very much for modern medicine, allopathic medicine. I am very much for this. We need it. So I am not against your doctor, seeing your doctors. Not only do I believe in it, I'm a mother and a grandmother, and you better believe I'm going to be telling my kids to get to the doctor about certain things. Because I understand how energy works, and because I hear the divine tell me, I'm imploring you. If you have pain and congestion, I'm calling it congestion. If I didn't use these words, I would say, I have some pain here in this place between the elbow, where are we at here? The elbow. In fact, it's a little sensitive, right? And then this little bone right here, right? Right in this area. I personally have pain. Even showing it to you is a little painful. I have pain here. It makes its way down and around and up. And I have every symptom I shared with you. And it's getting better. And I've had it episodically since 2014. And this kind of information that I'm speaking about that comes to these branches started coming to us in 2013 in this way. And after time, if it's not resolved, it can cause nerve damage. Once it starts causing nerve damage, then you need both an energy practitioner to remove it, and you need a doctor to resolve what it's caused at the physical level. Okay, so this information travels into this area. I'm moving my cursor around toward the right middle of your screen, and then toward the base of that middle finger. Okay, that can be resolved. Tell your brain that this hurts. Tell your brain to look at this symptom wherever it is. I am using this branch. This is a very, very congested area for many people right now. You may be feeling something here. You may be feeling right here. This is another very congested area up here at the shoulder, in the area where it says 2. This area is being congested because of the kind of information I talked about in the first video that precedes this one. And there's a lot going on depending on you, right? If you trained in any healing modality, you are likely being addressed pretty significantly because it does target those who help people, whether you're helping them in the medical profession, in the emotional and mental health profession, in the energetic work profession, massage therapy, kinesthetic work, somatic work, you're likely being targeted. And if you are, it is targeting these areas around your brain. It's targeting the use of your hands. It's targeting the heart zone of your physical body. It's targeting under the breast, whether you're male or female. It's targeting the rib cage as it goes around like this. It's targeting the costal, I'll have to come back with that word because I want to say costal chondritis, but that's a diagnostic, not what it is that I'm talking about. But the areas where these nerves and the muscles are very sensitive if they get inflamed all around your rib cage. And these are the primary areas that are addressed. There are many, many, many others up in this area and over on this area, on your back, in the heart zone area. Many people are being addressed in the groin area. And when the groin is being addressed, it's being addressed from this place right here, down around this place where your leg bends and your torso meets, down to the area of this bone, and then up this way. And then it goes around to the sacral area. And it comes all the way around your leg, right up underneath your buttocks. And then it moves up into the interior of your physical body. And not everyone has it, though everyone I have met does. And when it moves up through the interior of the physical body, its intention is to move up and around like this. And when it does that, it begins to overshadow areas of your brain. And this is why we're making these videos. So what's the takeaway from this video? The takeaway from this video is, at the very least, nearly everyone is experiencing energetic congestion, which means a lot of energy sending information into this nerve branch. And if you're one of them, it's coming in here. And it really focuses on this space right here. Then it expands. And when your hands go numb, your shoulders hurt, your elbow has nerve pain in it, you're very uncomfortable, miserable, and it affects everything. Everything. It affects your sleep, your motivation. All kinds of things start going downhill from there. And this is its intention. And then it gets into this little nerve bundle right here, and it starts to spread in the way these nerves move down into the fingers. And then it starts to move up around the finger like this. And when it gets around that big mound, energetically, it can start conveying to the place where your thumb and your wrist meet. And then it can limit the spread and the ability to move your thumb around naturally. When that begins to happen, arthritic information, there are fields called hemimorphic fields, and hemimorphic fields will come to meet what resounds, what resonates like arthritis. And then they come in with that intention. That's a field of intention. And if a field of intention of arthritis for this digit comes in, it can begin to affect it quite quickly. And the pain starts. And then this thumb becomes stiff. And before you know it, you have other knuckles, other areas on your hands doing the same thing. And these hemimorphic fields, they just start expanding. And they'll go from finger to finger, they'll make their way up to your wrist bone, make your way up to your elbow, make their way up to this and start to create what feels like bursitis. Then they make their way around to the scapula, the two shoulder blades, and they make their way into those muscles. And they begin to convey information from behind the scapula through the front, which is this zone here. And this is how these energetic information kinds of intelligences begin to affect your body. And your brain needs to understand that this is occurring. Another very common, very, very common condition is for information to wrap itself around the ankle like this. Come down between the toes, these two toes in particular, back up behind and up the back of the leg. And as it goes up the back of the leg, it comes up here and it sits. And this is the area that I was talking about being kind of painful. And when that area is painful and it's tethered here, you can imagine that what's starting to happen is a pulling down of your whole framework. Okay, and so as our framework starts to arch this way, then what happens is it goes around the back, comes back around here, goes around the back, comes around here, and it starts to get this area. And it's important, don't lose me on this, please, because we're talking to your brain, looking at this. Invite your brain to look at your body in these regions. And when it does this pattern I'm showing you, it pulls this whole part of you forward. And when it starts to turn you forward, it starts pulling away that area behind the scapula. And pain starts behind there because the muscles are being stretched, moved, and conveyed to in ways they were not intended to by the Creator. So before you know it, it's back over on this side. And it's pulling this side forward. And that goes around the back, comes around here, okay? And by around here, these areas are inferred behind you. This is not in front of you. So that it comes around like a noose. And then it comes down, comes across the groin. And it comes, all right, that might not work. And it comes all the way down, back here. When it does this, it crosses over like this. It's a very common framework for this energetic information. Comes to the knee, circles that kneecap like that, comes back, goes behind this leg, coming back out, coming around to the back of this, back out on this side, back up on this one. Now, it doesn't take a long time for this energetic information to fulfill the intention to bring energetic information across your entire body. Now it comes underneath the arm, goes around the back, comes out here, crosses up. Now this just keeps happening. And what happens before you know it is you have an entire framework of etheric energy circling all over every single line of energy with an intention to do a very specific thing. And this will upset your life. This will start to de-incentivize you. You begin to wake up in the morning with some despair. You begin to want to stay in the bed, but the longer you stay in the bed, the worse you feel. The worse you feel, the less you want to get out of the bed. And this is a cycle. This information knows if you are the kind of person who's going to work on your body, you're likely to work on it before you get out of bed. And the longer you lay there, the more this kind of information is becoming conveyed around you. And the most powerful way every single morning to end this is to get up. It feels like a great place to pray or to meditate or to make strong intentions, and it should be. But throughout this COVIDic, environmental, congestive, episodic intention, that's a long phrase. Stop it, go back and listen to it again. Throughout this period of time, these energies start coming in at about 1 o'clock in the morning, wherever you are. It doesn't matter what time zone you're in, it's triggered by the 1. At about 1 o'clock in the morning, more of this information starts to come in. Depending on what you have with you right now, it knows where to go next. And then by the time your alarm's going off, whether it's 5:30, 6, 6:30, 7, whatever time it is, the moment your body, your brain starts to light up, it starts doing this, and it starts clogging up the ear with energetic information. And then it gets to this ear, and it does the same thing. And if you have the capacity to have audible hearing of the spirit realm, you can hear this. And they have become, these energetic intentions have become so powerful that if you're not used to hearing them, it's easy to believe you're listening to the divine. That is why you see what I write and what I say often have a phrase. God, who is the divine, who is the creator, who is pure source light. I'll use these various phrases because if I just say God in certain circumstances, when certain energetic conditions are activated, there are fields of intention that are using the names of the divine. Now, if you're like me and you know the truth is God hears you, no matter how you say his name. However, when we use a phrase, it defaults past the field of intention that holds energetic conditions that use the names of the divine realm. And often they will not activate. That's the nature of the kind of energy that is coming to most people throughout the world. Now, to clear this, you've got to get out of bed. You've got to get out. You've got to remember what you did before these kinds of things came to us. You've got to remember the kinds of habits you developed that made you successful, that made you motivated, that made your day work really, really well. So I only know how to share it for me, okay? Because what's good for me may not be good for you, but this is what was good for me. I learned at a very young age, if I wanted to be ready for the day, ready for every opportunity, and get what needed to get done out of the way as early as possible, I had to get up very early. I had to get up before my children awakened, before I had to start making lunches and getting them ready, get them in the car and get their kids and carpool and all of that kind of stuff. That's a very long time ago. And I learned that I had to have my makeup on, I had to be dressed, and I had to be ready to move this. And when I did, I had great successes. I was great at goal setting, great at manifesting goals, great at getting so much done I can't even imagine it today. Because this information, this kind of debilitating information, began to come in 1980. This kind of information started building after 2001. This information began to build again at an unprecedented level in about 2014. 2015, it went to a whole other level. By 2016, this information that I'm referring to was expanding like a mushroom. It was a lot. And the more it expanded, the more exponentially it would expand. And this information kept doing this until it became connected to a disease intention. And then it coupled with a disease intention. I'm oversimplifying a very, very complex process, a very complex intention. But in the most simple way, this is the way it happened. All right. Because it did, we were becoming overshadowed before we understood we were. We had energy in our fields and within the fields within the interior parts of our physical bodies before we had any idea. So that at the point where the viral and bacterial intention we call COVID met the intention of the energetic conveyances that we're referring to. Before that occurred, we had these kinds of conditions that I'm showing you wrapped around our arms, wrapped around our thighs, wrapped around all areas of our body. And then these activated. And as they activated, they began to call in the viral and bacterial intention. By the time this happened, this whole area of our body was energetically woven, to say the least, like just massively. And I'm not making this up. This is what it looked like. Now, if I could do these in many different colors, you would say, my God, what happened? It is overwhelming. And we had no idea. None. So as in these energies, these lines, and that's what etheric lines, they look like lines. They look like a web. They create networks all around your whole body. And as they resonated with viral and bacterial information, they would call it in and it would land in very specific areas, mostly in our chest, in the back of your chest as well, under your arms. And as we began to figure this out and we began to survive this, we still didn't know we have all this energetic information conveying all over our bodies. And it's still coming in the earliest hours of the morning through the period of time you get out of bed. The way to get this off, I will explain in video number 3. Okay, stay with me. I know this is surreal. I know that this is bizarre, but this isn't fake. This I'm not sharing this with you because I want you to do something other than share with you how to end it for yourself. The divine has asked me to make these videos so you can see where this information is coming today. And it's coming right here. And if you feel cognitively slower, if you feel like you're walking through thick mud, if you're like, why can't I get through processes I could get through like this before? It is because energetic information is cluttering these areas of our field. Others too. And depending on how much energetic information has been with you, you could have more or less than the next person. But it's time to get this off so we can live, so your cognitive capacity can be restored. Okay? All right. Follow me to the next video, number 3.